Hi folks, welcome to a tutorial on learning limits involving trigonometry. In the previous lesson we talked about how we can effectively use a unit circle and kind of keep this tucked away in our head, this counting method. If you haven't seen that, go back and refer to that one. But now this video we are basically just going to compute a bunch of limits. Okay, so if x is approaching 0, basically that means we can just drop in that 0 right there. So we're just computing sine of 0. And we should know that the y value at 0 radians, the y value is 0. Okay. So cosine at 0 is 1. We're just going to substitute in here. Whoa, tangent. We haven't talked about tangent. Well, the definition of tangent is sine over cosine, so we're going to be thinking of sine 0 divided by cosine 0. Well, thankfully, that gives us a 0 on top and not a 0 on the denominator. So our answer for limit of tan x as x approaches 0 is 0. Okay? Now we're going to substitute in pi halves, it looks like, for each one of these. So sine pi halves is just 1. Cosine pi halves. Cosine pi halves is right there. So the x value is 0. And tangent, be sine over cosine, right? In this case, that's going to give us 1 divided by 0. If it gives us 1 divided by 0, what's the answer? Aha. So it's undefined then, right? So we're going to say undefined. Now, if we got something like 0 over 0, we would have to do something more. But 1 over 0, we would actually search for a vertical asymptote, so we go a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. But our knowledge of the tangent function kind of looks like an S like this. And then there's an asymptote, and then it goes like this again, right? So at pi halves, it is the limit on both, on the left side would be infinity, and on the right side would be negative infinity. I think I'm remembering that one right. Go ahead and type that in your calculator and make sure. Okay, so how about if we go out to pi fourths? Well, substituting that in, I get root 2 over 2. Substituting pi in for cosine x, so I'm thinking cosine pi this time. Well, that'd be negative 1. Plug in pi fourths here. Well, that would be sine, the sine at pi fourths over the cosine at pi fourths. Well, that would be root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2. Aha, so that's going to simplify to equal 1. All right? And you can confirm all of these with your calculator. However, this is non-calculator work. Okay? And don't forget the reciprocal identities. So reciprocal identities just kind of basically means fraction, 1 over. Okay, so if I'm going to find the secant, I know that secant is 1 over cosine x. So, I should put pi fourths in. And pi fourths is root 2 over 2, so this will be 2 over root 2. And that's fine. However, if you have a multiple choice question, it'll probably look, you'd probably have to rationalize. So we're going to say that root 2 is the answer. If you don't understand that rationalizing right there, rationalizing denominator, why don't you search a video on that? I haven't made one yet, so you'll have to search it. Cosecant, that'll be 1 over secant pi. Well, no, I'm sorry. Cosecant goes with sine, so 1 over sine pi. And we know that sine at pi is 0, so that 1 over 0, so that'll be undefined. Now we should check left and check right hand limits. So let's take a minute there and look at that graph.